Welcome back to Global E-Commerce Unlocked. We hope you enjoyed your summer holidays and are feeling nice and refreshed for what's gearing up to be a very busy Q4 for online sellers. So, with that in mind, we've got loads of important topics to cover today and a live Q&A at the end where I will be joined by Khaled to answer all the questions. Starting off with Amazon introducing a new holiday peak fulfillment fee for sellers. So this will affect sellers across Europe, particularly the UK and Germany, and Laura will be providing you with an update there. Next, you may have noticed a dip in your sales on Amazon recently. Well, this could be down to Amazon significantly reducing its presence in Google Shopping ads across major EU markets. So join me for more details on that one. Next, Connor highlights Amazon UK's on-time delivery policy and shipping settings updates. This next one's a really popular topic at the moment. We get asked about this all the time. It's the Italian guarantee insurance update. So Ellie, our expert on the matter, will be answering questions live in the chat should you have them. So make sure that you get your questions in if you want Ellie's expertise and insight on the topic and how the Italian bank guarantee and the insurance offer will work as well. And finally, Patrick will be updating you on Amazon, covering the cost of VAT registration in Ireland. So all of that to look forward to. So get your questions in. We will answer them all at the end. So even if you have anything that's mentioned throughout the broadcast and that sparks a comment that you want to leave it at the time when you think of it, and then we will get to them all at the end in the Q&A section. So we'll stick around for that part, and you'll have the Q&As, and then you'll get the answers that you're looking for. But in the meantime, enjoy the broadcast and speak to you soon.
So the fourth quarter is obviously a really popular period for sellers and for, of course, consumers. And with this, Amazon is introducing a holiday peak fulfillment fee. So anyone using FBA in the UK or in Germany will be affected by these increased fees, obviously covering the core holiday season. So between October 15th and January 14th, there is a holiday peak fulfillment fee that is going to be added to some FBA orders. So just so you are aware, this is going to help Amazon maintain that fast delivery, expand the capacity, so you will be able to have more orders delivered quicker so that the service is continuing smoothly during that festive period, which can be very manic. This is going to apply to small and standard parcels, as well as large and extra large envelopes. So if you're doing local FBA, so within the same country, or even if you're doing deliveries between the EU and the UK in what we call remote fulfillment, this is going to affect you. So the average fee will be 10 pence, that's GBP, 10 pence per parcel, and 5 pence per large or extra large envelope item. So if you're selling those smaller products, this is going to be something you need to take into account. And it is in line, as Amazon has said, it is in line with what other carriers are doing during the peak season. So DHL has added surcharges for deliveries between November and December, taking into account obviously Black Friday and the end of year sales. And DHL has actually added 69 cents in comparison to other times of the year. So it is likely still to be a cheaper option for you using FBA, but just so you're aware, you can update your pricing. From October 1st, you will be able to see what those prices are going to be specifically for your products with the revenue calculator and the FBA fee preview report. So just to make sure before the end of the year, you make sure you check your pricing and adjust them if necessary.
If you've been advertising on Google Shopping recently, you might have noticed a major shift. Amazon has quietly stepped away from the platform. So in just a few days, their presence in shopping and ad auctions has completely vanished. One of the biggest players is suddenly out of the game, and that changes everything. With Amazon gone, the competition looks very different. Now there's more space for other retailers to appear in search results and potentially at a lower cost. This change happened fast. In late July 2025, Amazon pulled its shopping ads across key markets like the US, UK, Germany, and Japan. Their impression share dropped from around 60% to zero, almost overnight. While this move surprised many, it wasn't entirely out of the blue. Amazon had been gradually cutting back its ad spend since around mid-2024. It's important to note this affects product listing ads, the ones with images, prices, and seller info, not all Google ads. So why did Amazon make this move? There's no official explanation from their side, but a few smart guesses help paint the picture. Firstly, control. By focusing on their own platforms, Amazon can manage the customer journey more tightly and keep more of the profits in-house. Secondly, cost. Competing in Google shopping auctions is expensive, especially when you're bidding against yourself. So pulling back could be a way to improve return on investment for Amazon. Third, strategy. There could be a temporary pause or a test timed around major retail events or shifts in their marketing approach. And finally, the market is evolving. With AI-driven advertising and retail media growing fast, Amazon might be redirecting its focus to newer, more efficient channels. For other businesses, this opens a window of opportunity, but it's not without risks. Lower competition could mean better visibility, but it also demands smart, measured action. Now's the time to experiment, optimize, and stay flexible, because when a giant like Amazon moves, the ripple effects are felt everywhere.
Amazon is introducing a new one-time delivery rate, or OTDR policy. Starting September 16th, 2025, sellers fulfilling orders through Fulfilment by Merchant will need to maintain a minimum of 90% OTDR without extending the promised delivery date. If the OTDR falls below that threshold, Amazon may take action. This could include temporary deactivation of individual listings or even restrictions on your ability to list fulfilled by merchant products. Starting October 16th, Amazon will begin sending out warnings with your current OTDR and tips on how to improve if needed. But don't worry, no enforcement will begin until February 2nd, 2026. To help you meet the OTDR requirements, Amazon offers several tools. Automated handling time. Set handling times per SKU based on your actual processing speed. Shipping settings automation, or SSA, adjusts transit times using real carrier performance data. By shipping helps you choose shipping labels that meet prime delivery promises. And there's one more update. Starting January the 19th, 2026, Amazon will change the maximum transit time in standard domestic shipping templates for all UK mainland from 5 days to 4 days. This reflects actual carrier performance and helps customers get more accurate delivery promises. Remote and non-mainland areas are excluded from this change. For full details, check the list of excluded regions and item level exceptions and the default transit times for domestic sellers. So, to stay compliant and keep your customers happy, make sure your shipping settings are accurate and use the available tools. And keep an eye on your OTDR.
We're excited to introduce a new insurance-based solution for sellers needing to meet the €50,000 Italian guarantee requirement. Previously, this guarantee has meant costly bank deposits or complex financial agreements. But now, thanks to a vast collaboration with a trusted Italian insurance provider, there's a smarter alternative. Avast has negotiated a major reduction in insurance premiums, from 7% down to just 1 to 2.5%, depending on your risk profile. This means significant savings for sellers while still meeting all regulatory requirements. Each seller's risk profile is assessed based on submitted documentation. Sellers are ranked from 1 to 10, Those in the low to moderate risk range, 4 to 10, can expect premiums between 1 and 1.5%. To find out if you qualify or to begin your assessment, get in touch with Avast today. We're here to make compliance easier and more affordable.
There's a limited time offer to grow your business on Amazon Ireland. Amazon is covering the VAT registration in Ireland and 2 years of our VAT compliance service, which is a saving of €1,600 to help you expand your business. So here's what you need to qualify. Firstly, you need to be an FBA seller who doesn't yet have an Irish VAT number. You then need to register your VAT number by December 2025 and upload it to your Seller Central account whilst enabling storage in the country. Once you've done that, Amazon will automatically reimburse you for your VAT registration, the 2 years of VAT compliance service, and fiscal representation if needed. No sign up is required, just follow the steps and check your Seller Central account. The refund will appear as a miscellaneous adjustment under your reimbursement. Ireland is part of the Pan-EU program, and if you disable Irish inventory storage within 12 months, Amazon may charge you up to €1,900 for tax services or deduct it from your future payments. It's important to remember that you're still responsible for VAT compliance. The refund only covers specified services, and things like notarization or courier fees are not included. And if you don't pay your tax provider, Amazon may withhold the benefit. This is your last chance to take advantage of the offer, so register your Irish VAT number now and unlock new growth opportunities on Amazon.ie.
We have a huge update for our existing clients and also for anyone coming to Avast. We now have a Shopify API integration. For those of you that don't know what this is essentially a system that links your Shopify to our filing systems. We always have had this with Amazon, which makes it nice and easy for us to file either on a monthly or on a quarterly basis, but now we've extended this to Shopify. What this means is if you do sell on Shopify, we can just link to your Shopify account, export the sales reports from there, and then file. So you don't have to send us your sales reports, nothing's manual, everything is automated. What this means is filings will be nice and quick, we have the correct information straight from your account, and we can file for you. This is going live this month, so for anyone that's already with us, you will see it in your client portal. And for anyone joining us soon, we can now integrate with Amazon and Shopify.
Hello, everyone. It's good to be back, isn't it?
Hi, it's been a while, hasn't it?
Yes, it's been a crazy summer filled with changes. And as you've seen in today's broadcast, we covered just a couple of them. Obviously, stay tuned for the others. There's more to come. This summer has been full of changes in regulation, in rules. And as you've seen, especially with the Italian guarantee, with new solutions in place, and also the Amazon promotion for Ireland.
Yeah, and this is now the time when we're just going to open up the Q&A. So any questions that you have at this point, feel free to drop them into the chat. I'm sure you can see that on the side of your screen. So anything that you want to ask at that point, then absolutely you can. Khaled and I will be here to answer those questions. We also have a very exciting update as well, which we're going to drop in during this Q&A session about our current event that we've just had in China as well to celebrate 10 years of Avast over there. But first, I can see that there are a couple of questions that have already popped through. So let's get on to answering those first. The top one is from Dan Bender. It says, can you chat about the additional small parcel holiday fulfillment fee previously mentioned?
Of course, yeah. So the way it's working during the festive seasons, as we're calling it, obviously your orders on Amazon would hugely increase. And in order for Amazon to still keep the prime promises and the speedy delivery that they always promise to their customers, they are adding those extra fees. As our colleague Laura mentioned, you're looking at 10p That's in GBP per parcel, and 5p or pence in GBP again for large letter and extra large letters. So make sure you account for this when you're pricing your products, as we hope you're going to make a lot of sales, so make sure you don't take a hit in your margins.
Nice, thanks for that, Khalid. There's also another one here from Manish, which says, for the Italian guarantee insurance, what is the percentage of 1 to 2.5% fee on? So in this, what I think you're referring to is what will that 1% come off of? Now, the Italian guarantee is referring to sales which happen within Italy. They're not going to then be charging you that percentage for sales which are made into different jurisdictions. So that would be a percentage that comes off all of the revenue of your sales which are made into Italy. So hopefully that succinctly answers that question. Thank you for that, Manish.
And to follow up on that, as you can see from our colleague who's also on the chat with us, it refers to the percentage of the actual guarantee itself that you have to pay. So the assessment gets done on your company revenue, and then they're looking at the fees in consideration of the guarantee that they're actually wanting.
Nice. It looks like there's a similar-ish follow-up question to that one as well. So let's go ahead and answer that. So this one is from Resley Lumanog. This one says, what is the latest update on the 50k euro Italian VAT guarantee requirement? Is it true that the Italian tax authorities, Agenzia delle Entrate, have begun actively removing non-compliant companies from the VISE system database? If yes, how does Avast help us clients to be compliant?
The answer to this is they have, how can I say this? They haven't yet started removing as heavily. They are doing checks on all the companies, and they're prompting companies and their tax agents that they do require to have this in place. The regulation is still currently under discussion, so is not as official yet, is not yet written in the legislation, but they are planning on implementing it. And the way we're here to help is that, as our colleague Ellie mentioned, we have found a solution in which we can partner with an insurance company who can provide this insurance for you, who would stand in lieu of the bank letter or your own insurance company if you were to have one of yours.
Hopefully that answered that question for you. There is one regarding Ireland here. So this one is from Ari Solik. It says, if we register for Ireland and receive the 1,600 euro as a credit in our Seller Central, but we do not make enough sales in a year, will this mean that the credit will go away? Okay, so the way that the reimbursement works here is that you would pay Avast. Well, first things first, our registration fee is free in Ireland. You would then pay 2 years worth of filing upfront, which is 1,600 euros. Once the VAT number is live, at the moment it takes about 2 months to get the VAT number in Ireland. Once that VAT number is live, upload it to your Amazon Seller Central, and then at that point, Amazon will start the reimbursement process with you. According to their terms and conditions, it can take up to 3 months for the reimbursement to come through, but then it will pop into your Seller Central as a miscellaneous adjustment. So what that means is those fees can then be used as going towards your storage credits, or you can also withdraw those fees into your own bank account as well. So it will actually, you could spend it on something else. It doesn't have to be Amazon related. It's not related on how many sales you have in Ireland. It's simply just an incentive that Amazon have put in place for you to then get the Irish VAT number and then upload it to your Seller Central for Amazon Ireland. So it's not related to your revenue. It's not related to how many sales you have. It's just so that you will then start storing your products in Ireland. So hopefully that answers that question for you.
Also, to follow up on this, as Lewis already mentioned, it takes about 2 months for you to get a VAT in Ireland. So if you were looking to adhere to this promotion and to utilize it, it will be good for you to start as soon as possible, as we're borderline in October now. With the time it takes to gather all the documents to actually place the application with the authorities, we're just making to get the VAT number in December. And in order for you to be eligible for this refund, you need to have the VAT number live up until December on Seller Central. So make sure you take action as soon as possible, just to make sure you're not missing out.
Nice. Where were we? Got one with Howard Liao. This one says, logistics between our office in Germany and FBA is essential for us. Can we use Amazon shipment to save the time and cost?
Of course, yeah, you're free to use any partner carrier or non-partner carrier to get your products into the FBA. There's no limitation into this. Just check with them, as they may all have those extra fees when it comes to this holiday fulfillment period.
Nice. Let's have a look at Felipe's question here. So Felipe Gonzalez says, the reimbursement will pop out entirely, or will it be put in little by little like Amazon does sometimes?
This is more of a question more for your account manager if you have one at Amazon, or confirm it via opening a case. As far as we are aware, the reimbursement is coming in full back to you, as also the fees you are asking to pay, they're paid in full for the upcoming 2 years. Double check it, but as far as we know, it's paid in full.
Nice. Thanks, understood. This one from Resley also says, follow-up question. Please confirm you already have insurance companies to partner with. Can you expand on the fees? We do have an insurance company that we are working with. The fees will be, where can we find those?
Personally assessed on your, as our colleague mentioned, they will be personally assessed on the risk, in a way, if we can call it like this. You are opening up yourself in Italy. So the fees won't be the same for everyone. So an actual assessment based on the documents would have to be done in your company. And we also, I see we also had a question on the top asking us to clarify this risk is calculated, this 1%, for example, it is calculated in relation to the 50,000 guarantee, not necessarily on the revenue. They would look at the revenue you're making in the country, and they will probably take up what is the greatest in order to make sure that you are actually insured.
Nice, thank you for that one. This one is a bit of a paragraph, but let's go for it. So one from Kristen, which says, I have a question about the practical impact of a company being removed from the VIS. My understanding is that the company would still hold a VAT number, but it would no longer be VIS verified. Does that mean they can still store inventory in the country without restrictions? And the only consequence is only that they are excluded from Amazon's automatic invoicing system, or are there any other legal, customs, or Amazon-related consequences to be aware of?
Give me 1 second. Let me just reread that again to make sure I understood it. No, so if your VAT number is invalidated on VIS, that means that you're not longer able to store in the country. Do know that is the VAT number that actually gives you the authority to store there, even though obviously a VAT number won't become invalid on its own. That means that you have missed filing, or there's something that has gone wrong in there. So if you do come to that, even without your control, obviously that's why you have to make sure that your compliance it's always up to date, and you not necessarily pay your dues, because if you're based outside of mainland EU, you don't have to pay the VAT. That goes automatically on Amazon, but you have to make sure that you're up to date with all the paperwork in order to avoid the situation in which they deactivate the listings because there's issue with the VAT, which then invalidate your eligibility for the promotion.
Perfect. That one is already answered by us. There's one here from Daniel, which says, for the Italian VAT guarantee, you referenced 7% as fees, and now it dropped to 1 to 2.5% fees with your solution. Is this correct? Where is the 7% coming from?
This is all based on risk. So each company would have a level of risk that would be assessed. For the minimum risk, again, it's between 1 and 2%. But if your risk is higher, again, in relation to the revenue you're making, this is where your revenue as a company comes into place. That's when the percentage goes higher. So it's the 7% out of the 50,000 in case you are a high-risk company that would have to be paid.
I would say the way of looking at that is it's similar to a credit score. It's like if you're seen as somebody who is more risk to lend to, then the fees will be higher. If you're seen as somebody who is less risk, then the fees will be lower. So that's probably the best way to look at that. And with that, this is why we're referring to it as it's not really as simple as we can give you the fees and say, oh, this is categorically what you would end up paying. We would need to do more of an assessment on your specific company in order to give you a more accurate understanding of what your specific fees would be in this case. So if this is a question that you've got and you want to assess how much you would be paying for your company, get in touch with us, and then we'll be able to refer to the partners that we have for the Italian bank guarantee, and they'll be able to assess you and come up with a specific pricing structure just for you.
If you're already a client of ours, just email your indirect tax consultant and they'll be able to start the assessment and to talk to you more in depth of how the process works. If not, just send us an email at inquiries@thevastgroup.com or give us a call on 02380 366 555. Oh, apologies, that was the wrong number. 02380. Luis, help me. I forgot the phone number.
Off the top of my head.
Give me 1 second. I'll have it here. Oh, apologies. I forgot our phone number in the office. Rob, can you help me put it on the screen? Apologies. So give us a call or send us an email at inquiries@thevastgroup.com and we'll be able to assess. There you go.
023 8060 0120.
Thank you so much. Apologies for that. I think we have more and more questions.
So that one has been answered. Let's go up a second. We'll answer Felipe's here. So this one says, Felipe Gonzalez, this may be a question outside the topics we discussed, but what is happening with the Spanish tax authorities? We're having a lot of problems regarding ROI and filings, extended waiting periods. So the way that the tax authorities work in Spain, again, I'd kind of need to know a little bit more about your specific situation. Is this a new registration? Is this an ongoing issue that you've had with the authorities over there? But what a lot of people tend to get misconstrued is that the tax authorities in Spain have two different VAT numbers. So when you start the registration in Spain, if you have done it, you'll know that you have to get a lot of documents notarized and apostilled. So there's a bit of legwork in terms of getting the right documentation from the get-go. But then when you start the registration process, the first VAT number you get is the Spanish local VAT number. So that will allow you to store your products in the country. But then you also can then go ahead and apply for an intra-EU VAT number, which is a second step. And then that will allow you to move goods from Spain into other countries within the EU as well. So with this one, again, Felipe, I don't want to give you a politician's answer by not really answering the question, but I would need to know a little bit more about your specific situation in order to give you a succinct answer in this case. But yeah, currently the time frame to get in the normal local Spanish VAT number is about 2 months, and then the intra-EU number after that is about 4 months. So once you've done that whole process, you're looking at half a year. So it can be quite a lot of time to get both of those VAT numbers. But as I say, hopefully that answered the question. If it didn't, then just put a bit of a follow-up question, provide a bit more context, and I'd be happy to go into that in a bit more detail for you. But thank you for that. What else we got?
There's a follow-up question from Daniel again, which does refer to the Spanish tax office in the timeline. I think we just covered that. Again, it takes about 4 months to get the number. And do keep in mind that if you were to get a penalty for late filings or late payments, that can be questioned by your VAT agent. So if you are working with us, let us know and we can try to appeal in a way that filing and that penalty and to try to have it removed. There's some cases based on the level of the actual penalty imposed. Sometimes they can be forgiven and the matter can pass.
That was that one just there. We have another one from Ari just here, which says, does the insurance company need to be an Italian company, or can it be a global insurance from another company?
It can be a global insurance. The only thing that you have to check with them is they are internationally recognized by the Italian government. So when those rules came into place, the Italian authority said that they would work with business insurance company. Likely they would have to be local to where your business is incorporated, but you have to make sure that this is recognized by their actual tax offices and the Italian government. So check with your insurance provider if they do have such connections, or let us know and we can try to verify that for you.
Because there was some examples of like big international banks that were providing this as well at one point, wasn't there?
Correct. Yeah. Don't forget that in addition to the insurance itself, you can always use a bank guarantee. This is how this initially started, with a bank guarantee. This would be a letter from your bank, the bank where you have your business account open, pretty much confirming you have enough capital to cover an amount of potential debt up to 50,000 euros. So you still have the option to approach your bank and see if they would give you this specific letter. There's a model actual on the Italian tax website, Italian government website. So you can download that model, give it to your bank, and if they're happy to sign, then you're covered.
Pretty happy with that one. What else do we have? So, got another one from Howard. We have the same issue regarding Spanish tax authority and receive the penalties even though we have already paid. Is there any way for claiming to the Spanish tax authorities?
That would be something you can take to your tax agent, as they are sort of the middle person between you and them. Take the matter to them and ask to open up sort of a case with them, just to put your situation down and wait for an assessment. I said they would look on how much is it owed for how big of a period and what's the actual history of your VAT number before they can make a decision. We've seen it happening before, but it's not necessarily a guarantee. I said, if you are Howard, if you're one of our clients, let us know. Contact your indirect tax consultant. If you're working with a different firm, make sure you speak to them, as they are the only ones that they can challenge that with them.
Nice. We have Felipe Gonzalez. My case, perfect. He came back. So this one says to get the ROI, it's been months. And also they have this "don't ask me too much or else" attitude. Is this normal?
If you're talking about the actual Spanish offices, pretty much the way it's working when we're submitting an application, even ourselves as agents who they sort of know us. I'm not sure. This seems to me that, have you done it individually or have you used an agent? Because that to me seems like you've done it individually. Maybe you can let me know. But the way it works, we send all the documents and pretty much it's just a waiting game. We're waiting for them to get back to us either with more question or a confirmation that the application has been treated and we can move forward. So the silence is not necessarily a bad thing if you're experiencing that from the tax office's side.
We have a message here from Exxon Panjarapiram. Apologies if I've butchered that name. I hope I did it justice. Sorry. This one says, my Italian VAT number registered with other providers. I'm interested in moving Italian VAT to your company. And can you help me with the Italian security guarantee? Yes, we can help with both. So first things first, our insurance solution that we're working with a different partner with only works for clients of ours. So firstly, if you wanted to use the option that we have, then you would have to be a client of ours in order to apply for that. So I suppose that's the answer to the second part of the question rather than the first, but the first part of the question is, yes, we can also take over from this other provider as well. The takeover process in Italy, off the top of my head, is about 2 weeks to do. Yeah. It's pretty simple. If you can provide us with the copy of your Italian VAT certificate, your passport, your certificate of incorporation, the last filings that you had in Italy, and then some personal documents about yourself. So it will usually be a bank statement, a utility bill dated within the last 3 months. Then that will be all of the information that we need in order to take over from your previous provider. And then once we are your agent, we can then start the process for the insurance guarantee in Italy as well. So it would be a two-part process. The first part would be let us at Avask take over. The second part would be, with that, we can then apply for the Italian insurance guarantee for you so that you remain compliant in Italy. Hopefully that answered the question for you. Should we go to, this is quite a long one. Let's go to that. So Resley says, same with us about the Spanish tax authorities. The penalties are piling up. We got penaltied for paying the late penalty fee. You got penaltied for paying the late penalty fee. Okay. Do you have a faster system, as we usually pay the fees on time, but we still get penalties?
The way it's working, when, again, maybe you can confirm if if you are with us, 2 seconds, there's a follow-up question.
It looks like there's a follow-up here also from Leslie. Like our latest penalty, we need the document from Avast and sent the ticket almost a week ago, but until now we haven't received the document needed to pay the fee on time.
When you're saying fee, are you referring to the actual penalty fee or to the VAT that you owe to the Italian authorities? Obviously, without sharing maybe too much about your information and what you're doing with your company, if you're sending an email to the address that's running now on the screen for the attention of Khaled and Lewis, we'll take that to the VAT team, and maybe you can also give us the number of that ticket you have open, just so we can prompt the specific VAT team on the matter for you.
Let's go to Florin here. So we have one from Florin Kyodar, which says, I have a VAT for a UK country and the submission UK for VAT is managed by Avast. I'm not selling in the UK anymore, so I would like to close the VAT. Can Avast help me close the VAT for the UK? Is there a solution to put somehow on hold, inactivate, and activate later if needed? Which are the steps? So answer to the second part again first. There's no real way to put the account on hold. Once you have the VAT number live in any country, you will need to continue to submit filings indefinitely until you decide that you wanted to deregister. So even if you have no sales, you would have to submit nil filings just to prove that nothing has happened. So the VAT is, once it's open, and then once it's closed, it's closed. So there's no way of putting it on hold per se. That being said, if you do want to deregister, then firstly what you would have to do would be ensure that all of the filings are done up to the date when you deregister. So as I say, it has to be continuous. So from the date that you started till the day that you want to finish, you need to make sure that every filing is done. In the UK, it's quarterly. So you just need to make sure that all of the filings are done from the time when you started up until the time that you finished. Once it is all up to date, you need to ensure that there's no stock left in the UK, because obviously having products in the United Kingdom is what, once you're storing the products, that's what you need the VAT for in the first place. So ensure that you've either sold through all of your stock or you've moved stock out of the country completely. Once the stock's out of the country and all of your filings are up to date, then we can submit the deregistration. The deregistration in the UK at the moment, I can't remember how long it takes off the top of my head. Can you?
It varies between 3 weeks and a month.
3 weeks and a month. And then once that's done, the VAT number is deregistered. You will no longer have to submit any filings to the United Kingdom, to HMRC, and then this problem has all gone away. So I know it was a very long-winded answer and it was done in 2 parts, but hopefully that gave you some more clarity. If you do need any further advice on that, of course, just hit that email in the bottom or give us a call on the number that Howard and I couldn't remember.
Thank you, Lewis. There's another follow-up question from Felipe regarding the Spanish tax office.
Let's get to that one.
So is the Spanish VAT tax office the most problematic? It seems to be. So we can know that we have to be more careful.
Spain and Poland.
Probably the most problematic, if you will. At the end, they're all tax offices, so they're not going to be easy to be dealt with. But yeah, Spanish is definitely on the top there with the ones that are most complicated and the ones that take a little longer, which can sometimes also be a good thing because that means they have processes in place that they have to follow. What we need to work on, and they need to work on necessarily more likely on the actual delays that they're taking to deal with those sort of issues. So obviously be careful, and in general, not necessarily with the Spanish offices, everywhere where you have VAT number, make sure you have a visibility on what is being filed, what is being paid for, and make sure you don't get into a situation, as somebody mentioned earlier, when the VAT just gets invalidated, which will create even more problem with Amazon and on any other platforms where an actual account closure can occur. So make sure you check what's happening with your filing. Make sure you ask the questions of the things that you have to check. That's a good note for us. Maybe we can make a session on things to look for when you're managing the VAT, and things that sometimes get overseen when you're conducting business as you do in a country where you're not incorporated. So we make a note of that, and we'll have a session on in the following webinars.
I think one thing to take away from that as well is once you've got your Spanish VAT number, and once you've been selling into Spain, and once you keep up with the compliance, it is one of the most fruitful markets in the EU. So yes, it can be a bit frustrating to get the VAT number in the first place. Once you have it, the benefits are tremendous. But that being said, you know, look at on the bright side. Once you've got the Spanish VAT number, dealing with all of the other tax officers seems easy. So yeah, once you've completed that, everything else is a doddle. But yes, it is the most problematic. I would say Poland is probably the second most problematic. It's just because they are very sort of stuck in their ways, and a lot of the documentation is done by hand. A lot of it is physical paperwork. So it does take quite a while to get responses from them. But yeah, this is not the first time this has been mentioned. It's a very common problem. And Felipe, you're not alone in this one. So we understand that. Daniel. Spain VAT. We are an existing client. See, Spain gets brought up again. Yeah. I'm telling you. Spain VAT. We are an existing client of Avask. We pay the VAT to Avask Spain on time, but then we get penalty for failure to pay the Spanish tax authority, which issues late penalty fees. As we receive a letter from the tax authorities to Avask late, they are late fees on late fees. Okay.
That I think we have a question answer here on that one from our colleague in the chat. Again, without bringing your specific situation into place on highlight for everyone, please do email us on the email that you see on the screen here, Daniel. With that, I think you're the same person that mentioned that ticket that was open. Make sure you send it to our attention. Send it for me and Lewis. We'll put it to the VAT team, and we have that on file for you. By what you're saying, I'm guessing you're part of the self-service for the VAT, and this is probably why the little miscommunication in regards to the letter itself. But I said, please send us an email and we'll talk in depth without putting your situation forward to everyone. And again, we're going back to Spain.
Back to Resley, back to Spain. It seems we're experiencing the same issues with the Spanish tax authorities. As our VAT advisor, it would be great if you have a solution to help us with this. Smiley face. Smiley face back to you as well, Resley. I would say yes, now that we've received all of this great feedback from you guys, it's probably worthwhile we take some notes of this and maybe do a session specifically on Spain next. I'm doing a polite nod at our video content producer in the room as well, so we know what we're going to do on the next topic. But yeah, I think speak to your point of contact within the company, help them get an understanding of what your specific case is, but also with all of this feedback that we're getting live, and this is why these things are good, you know, because we have this chat, we open it up to you guys, and you mention exactly the sort of issues that you're dealing with. It gives us some immediate feedback, so we know exactly what sort of topics we need to cover next. So rest assured, Spain will be right at the top of that pecking order, and that'll be the country that we cover next in the next broadcast. So yeah, these questions are great, and as I say, Resley, I can see that Mia behind the scenes has been answering a lot of your questions already in the chat, but also if you have a point of contact within Avask, then also send them a message as well. They can raise a ticket, or we can start an investigation into exactly what's gone on and provide you with the remedy for that specific problem. Thank you.
And same goes here, Howard, as well. There's the same situation as Lewis mentioned. Make sure to let us know. Obviously, we're here to help. We're working with you, never against you. We're here to assist and to do as much as we can. And on the topic of the countries, obviously, we talked about Spain, mainland Europe, and Ireland as well. We would like to just take a little break to show you what we're doing in China. Our Avask team is currently in China, celebrating a milestone for us, an anniversary of 10 years since we've been active there. So please enjoy this video for the event where our colleagues are at, and then we'll be back with more questions shortly.
Perfect.
We hope you enjoy that. There we go.
No, I was just going to say that that was that in Guangzhou? Hangzhou?
Yes.
I always
you are,
pronounce
yeah.
it wrong.
I'm not even attempting.
But that's to celebrate 10 years of Avask being in China. So we have an Amazon and Avask joint event which is happening over there this week. So that's fresh content coming out from over there. But let's head on back to the questions, because I can see there's a couple more that have popped through. So the most recent one is again from Felipe saying, "Me again, hello. Me again, what happened to the Klarna payment option to be able to pay the Avask services in 12 payments? It seems that is not available anymore." You're right and not right in this one. So essentially the Klarna option it's, I don't want to say geo-blocked, but it's based on where you are as a customer. So certain countries Klarna will work, and certain territories Klarna doesn't cover. So it does cover the US, it does cover the UK. Certain countries it doesn't. So as far as I'm aware, Canada is not covered by Klarna.
As an example, yeah.
Mexico is not covered by Klarna. So it depends on where you are as the client, whether Klarna will show or not, because it's sort of restricted based on your location. So it is still an option, but it's not open to everybody. Do you have anything?
It's all based to where you are actually based as a company, and whether Klarna has the authority to act, because obviously Klarna is up there as a lender in a way, because this is what they're doing. They're lending money, and they just have to make sure that they are based within your territory in order for them to assist. So if you don't see the option of Klarna in one of our future invoices, that means that is not available to you because of the setup they have in the country. There is another one here for
Nafis Tamid. For the Ireland VAT registration, is the submission deadline to Amazon Seller Central exactly on the 31st of December 2025?
It is indeed, yes.
It is
So
indeed.
your VAT number has to be on Amazon Seller Central and verified. Again, it takes 2-3 days for them to actually verify the VAT number via VICE and then make it available. So you have to have the VAT verified by the 31st in order for the promotion to take effect and to get the refund.
Which goes back to what Khaled neatly said earlier, the fact that it takes about 2 months to get the VAT number. So if you were hypothetically starting today, then you would likely get that VAT number by the end of November. So realistically, you probably have about 3 to 4 weeks from now to take advantage of this promotion, because with the lead time it takes to get the VAT number, and then in order to make sure that VAT number is uploaded to Amazon Seller Central so that it's on there before the 31st of December, so that you can then qualify for the promotion, you would need to realistically make sure that you apply for this promotion and submit all of your documents within the next 3 to 4 weeks at the absolute latest. So just ensure that if it is something that you want to take advantage of, that you start collecting your documents now, and then get in touch with your point of contact within Avask, or if you don't already have one, send an email to the one which is right below there. And then once you've done that, we can start the registration process for you. And once you have the VAT number, upload it to Amazon Seller Central. Once it's on there, Amazon will start that reimbursement process. So hopefully that answered the question for you, Nafis.
And
we've got another one from Exxon. I'm a US-based seller. Regarding Italy's VAT guarantee, I previously spoke with another insurance company, and they required me to both pay a premium and open an EU bank account with a €50,000 deposit in order to issue the guarantee letter. I decided not to proceed since it doesn't make sense to pay both the premium and lock away 50 grand. Could you please explain how your Italy VAT guarantee solution works? So the first thing that I'm understanding from this is that solution is a bank guarantee whereby you have, deposited 50,000. Well, you haven't, because you decided not to go ahead with it. But their solution was that you deposit 50,000 euros in order to meet the requirements of the Italian government. So that's the bank guarantee. What we're talking about is an insurance guarantee. So it works slightly different. Do you have any more information on how it specifically works?
Yeah, so to explain a little bit of this, if you do have the capital, if you do have the 50,000, which it won't be an issue for you to deposit into a bank guarantee, you can do this via your VAT agent and the tax authorities. You don't need necessarily to involve a different company within this. And if you were to utilize our insurance option, you would pay only a percentage based on the risk that your company possesses in Italy out of that 50,000 euros. So, for example, let's say you are a minimum risk, you're looking at 1.25% out of the 50,000. That's how it works with us. Or as I said, you can make the payment directly if you do have the option. You also have a more in-depth answer on the screen now from our colleagues. We'll give you a second for everyone to read it and see if any more follow-up questions come after that.
So that's from Mia behind the scenes. That one says, excellent. Each seller's risk profile will be assessed based on submitted documentation. Sellers will be ranked on a risk scale from 1 to 10. Low to moderate risk ranks 4 to 10. Premiums range from 1 to 1.5% of the guarantee amount. High risk ranks 1 to 3. Coverage requires a co-obligator due to elevated risk.
And maybe just to explain the last paragraph, just because we touch bases on the ranks of the risk and the percentages, that coverage and the co-obligator, that means that you would have also a VAST involved if your company would be of high risk. And this is why sometimes the limitation for only be able to help the clients we are servicing for VAT, it's because sometimes we ourselves would have to jump in alongside the insurance company to back up your activity in Italy.
Good to know.
I hope you all read it. In any case, you all get a recording of this. You'll be available on YouTube and on LinkedIn. So if you like to review it or to take an actual screenshot of this, feel free to do so.
Are there any other historic ones that we've not done? Where's the... We did Daniel, we did Felipe, we did Florin. Did Wesley.
Yeah.
It's been answered. Exxon's been answered. Felipe, Ari. Howard, Ari, Wesley, Daniel, Felipe.
On while we'll review this, if you'd like to get some more information regarding the promotion we're running in partnerships with Amazon for Ireland, feel free to scan the QR code you're now seeing on the screen. It will direct you to an actual form where you can express interest, and also where you can read the terms and conditions outlined by Amazon in order to establish eligibility.
Perfect. I think that looks like it's it for questions. So I think we leave it open for maybe another 30 seconds, a minute, see if there is anything else that pops in. If not, I think we just probably leave it there.
Perfect.
I feel like we've covered the majority of things. If there are any last minute questions that you wanted to drop in, of course, you know where the chat box is. If there isn't anything else that you wanted to mention, that's absolutely fine. As Khaled mentioned, all of these recordings will go online to YouTube, to LinkedIn. So if you wanted to review anything that we mentioned, that we talked about today, then you can always refer back to those videos and watch it again if you want. You can see our beautiful faces another time. If that is it, then that's it. I think we just leave it there for now.
Perfect.
Happy
Once
with
again, yeah, no, don't forget inquiries@thevastgroup.com for any questions that come afterwards, and the phone number 02380-600-120.
Well done.
Got it. I read it actually. So thank you all again for joining us, and we'll see you in the next one.